Hello people, and this video is about why we get out on our bikes basically. I find that when I chat to people, they've got various reasons for being out and about on their bikes. Some of them are self-explanatory. If they use a bike to commute, then it's a question of getting from A to B in a fast method. If you live in traffic, it might be an economical method. It saves fees on buses and trains, that kind of thing. Since the pandemic, it might be a way of staying clear of germ-infested surfaces, which is also a very, very good reason. But if it's got you out on a bike, the chances are that you're starting to enjoy travelling this way as well. Pretty much anyone that's had to use a bike for any length of time has found, actually, do you know what? I don't mind travelling like this. It's actually better than a lot of the ways that I've been used to in the past. So, what makes us want to do it for leisure? That's the question, and the answers for me is quite simple. Now, personally, I'm not a competitive cyclist. I used to be quite a competitive cyclist. I used to enjoy having racing bikes and power meters and trying to best times and taking part in small events, that kind of thing. But over the last few years, especially with the computers and power meters and training and schedules and data logging and all the other bits and pieces that you can get involved with if you enjoy bikes, I found it a little bit tedious, and it was taking the fun away from what essentially was a great way to just get out and about into the wilderness. Now, personally, I really enjoy going out on the bike into places that I wouldn't necessarily go. Now, the current bike that I have is capable off-road and on-road as well. It runs tyres that are road suitable, and providing the ground's not too soft, I can use it off-road as well. What this allows me to do is take roads and trails. Now, this isn't a gravel bike, it's a drop bar 29er. It has very, very large volume tyres. They're sort of 60mm, and of course, being a 29er, it's large wheels as well, so it actually travels on the road surfaces very, very well, and over potholes, bad roads or trails, it's more than capable. It doesn't have a suspension fork. I do have one for it, but I've not bothered to put it on yet because it does the kind of trips that I want to do without the need for that. But the reason why I picked the bike and why I've built it this way is because it allows me to get to the kind of places that I want to go without having to use a car. Now, since the pandemic, we weren't allowed to use our cars essentially unless you were a key worker or whatever. And I found that I actually enjoyed riding to destinations rather than putting the bike in the back of the car and taking it to a destination. So a bike that was specifically able to do that for me was great. You can put slick tyres on a mountain bike, but it's still not that fast on the road because of the position of it. You can put quite a few things on a road bike, but if it's a specific racer, especially with caliper brakes, there's a limit to what you can fit under it clearance wise, tyres and wheels, so it's not a good conversion as far as I'm concerned. The 29er was ideal for me. Takes large tyres, takes large wheels, goes on road as well, and with the drop bars it's got quite a comfortable position for traversing the roads as well as the trails. Now, I like to get down roads like this one. This particular lane is probably about 5-6 miles away from where I live, and because I live in West Wickham and journey out to Biggin Hill very, very frequently, I travel down a lot of roads like this. They're not particularly busy. They're not particularly great condition either. As you can see, some of them are quite potholed, some of them are undulating, some of them have road debris or field debris all over them. So it can make for some sketchy rides on a road bike, but on this particular one it's not too much of a problem. And off the sides of many of these lanes there's great trails that you can disappear down. They're off-road. This bike handles them quite well, but I'd probably use a mountain bike as well off them. I just particularly like this one at the moment. I've been using it since I built it in July last year. But the roads are great. That's what I'm saying. The area is absolutely fantastic. I've got Biggin Hill Airfield. I can hear planes going up and down the whole time. There's plenty to see and do around here. There's some great cafes and things that you can stop at if you're on a ride. I don't tend to stop at cafes, to be honest with you. I prefer to get the ride done, and I may stop at 1/2 a mile away from where I live, because once I've eaten at a cafe, I don't tend to want to ride a great deal more, to be honest with you. But again, that may be one of the reasons that you like going out. You like going out in the morning, stopping somewhere where you can have a bit for breakfast, carry on your ride, and finish it and feel really great about it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's where it works for me. Sometimes I can get up and I'm not in the best of moods, or I'm just not feeling that alive, to be honest with you. So getting out on the bike is a great leveler. It changes my attitude, and I feel a lot better once I've been out on the bike. As soon as I start riding, within about 5 or 10 minutes, once I've warmed up — sometimes it takes me a lot longer than that to actually warm up — but once I've warmed up, I actually start enjoying being outside, traversing to a destination that I want to go to see how it looks today, to see whether it's grown or overgrown. In some places, some of the trails have become overgrown. Is one of the things that I enjoy doing. And because I've spent a lot of time making up new rides using trails and roads that, generally speaking, I wouldn't have gone down, especially in a car, I've got some great routes and things built up. Now, the great thing about this particular area is there's lots and lots of climbs. There isn't a flat bit on it. You're either going uphill or downhill. Because of its geographical nature, you spend a lot more time going uphill than you do coming down them as well, so that's something to take into consideration. But there's also some off-road trails here, like this particular one, which I sometimes navigate through on the way back from rides. Now, there's lots and lots of permissive bridleways here where you can actually take a cycle, or if you're out with your dog, you can take your dog along there as well. And they are great fun. Now, I'm always careful on various routes to avoid people who may be walking or might not want to be frightened by a speedy bike coming down there, so I don't tend to hack through these things pretty quickly. It's different in winter because I don't encounter so many people, but again, due to the pandemic, a lot more people are getting outdoors and enjoying walks and rides, or just walks with the kids sometimes. So that's also been a great thing about it. I think a lot more people are actually getting out and walking, and it's to be encouraged, to be honest with you. Any form of exercise is great for your mental well-being, I think. Now, when I get out and about, I enjoy traversing some decent roads around here. Some of them are not that busy, which, you know, if the roads are in good condition, they're not being used by cars that much. They make a great part of a trip, which I enjoy doing. But the main thing about these roads here is they're all accessible by bike. They're all really good. There's usually invariably some roads that you can take if one's closed off or one's become a temporary traffic light. On a bike you can do that. On a car you're stuck with it, really. You have to wait in the queue or try to do some sort of incredible 30-point turn to get round. The great thing about roads like this is there's pathways on either side here, permissive bridleways on the right, which I can take and navigate through to Hayes or other parts of Keston or back down to West Wickham. It's a great place to be. But there's lots and lots of hill climbs around here, which I enjoy doing. I enjoy riding by myself. Some people enjoy going out in groups and pairs and things, which is fine as well. But I enjoy what I enjoy the way I want to do it. Occasionally, I'll meet up with other people on the way. If I'm cycling 2 or 3 miles on a bit of road, I'll say hello and have a chat with them, like these two guys. Basically, they're just going past. They're a little bit more serious about their riding and competitiveness than I am, probably. Well, actually, not probably. Definitely. I've got no interest in going fast for the sake of it nowadays. So, if I happen to be going fast, it's because at that particular moment in the ride, I am enjoying it and I want to do it a little bit more. It's not because I've tried to do the whole ride like that. And that's where I think it really does matter to some people. Whatever you want to get from your cycling, you can. If it's a competitive ride with friends, then that's great. If that's what you enjoy doing and it gets you out, that's really, really, really good. But if you're somebody who likes to travel alone a lot like I do, being out on your own is a great thing as well. Now, sometimes I struggle with the motivation to get out, because I've woken up and it may be raining outside. I think, do you know what, I can't go out today. And there's a million reasons why you can convince yourself you can't go out. But essentially, every time I've decided to go out on a day like that, within 5 or 10 minutes I started to enjoy the ride, and I've been glad when I've got back that I've made the effort to go out as well. So that's something also to bear in mind. Don't let what's happening outside dictate what you should or should be doing. If you've decided to do it, best thing to make a decision the day before. You know what the weather's going to be like, you're just going to go out regardless, is to just press ahead and do it. Honestly, you'll feel a lot better if you've done it, rather than just sitting and thinking stuff, do you know what, I wish I'd gone out now. You can always regret it, but it's better by just pushing out and getting out the door. There's lots and lots of decent wet weather equipment that you can have. My particular bike is covered with mud guards. I've got decent jackets. I've even got weatherproof commuter trousers actually, which I've worn on particularly heavy days. They're a bit boil in the bag, to be honest, but again, once I've actually been out on the ride, I've enjoyed it, so it's worthwhile doing. But whatever gets you out is a good thing. Also, with the roads and things near where I am, it's not too bad actually, traffic wise. It's not too busy, but I've started to use a mirror on my bike. I've also got one for my racing bike as well, which fits on the handlebar end. Now, I found that they've been a really, really good idea for traffic, because it lets you know what's coming up behind you a long way sometimes before you can actually hear the car. And if you're aware of what's going on behind you, you can take action to help that car go past on narrow lanes by basically fitting into a widening gap of the road and waving the car on. I find that helps people not getting so angry in cars. But also it lets you control the situation in a positive way rather than negative ways, holding people up that you can't see. So I would recommend a mirror if you've never used it. If you're the kind of person that worries about what your bike looks like with a mirror on there, I'd still say to you, get one. Honestly, once you've tried it, you won't regret it. And if you're not racing in a bunch or things, it's a no-brainer, really. But again, it's personal choice, but I would definitely recommend it. I do a fair few thousand kilometers a year, and I find that it's really, really helpful since I've put it on earlier on this year. It's been a great help, and I really wouldn't go back to not having one now. It's really been that worthwhile having. But whatever gets you out, whether it's the roads, whether it's a thing with the weather, whether it's to talk about bikes with other people when you're out there, it's all good. Enjoy what you do, because it's something that should be treasured when you're out. It's a very, very good thing to do. So what I will be doing is making some future videos with trails and routes and combinations of both that I do locally. Now, I'll try and pick the ones that are more roadable, because I probably realise that most of you probably have road bikes, but there's some really great ones around here. There's some great hill climbs. There's Hogtrough Hill, there's Titsy Hill, Bedlestead Lane. Bedlestead Lane's one that I've just recently started filming actually, which I'll be bringing out fairly soon. There's also places like Star Hill, Toys Hill. There are just so many good climbs and good routes around here that it's worthwhile sharing them with other people. Now, if you don't know where I am at the moment, that's the junction of West Wickham in BR4. We're probably about 3 miles away from Crystal Palace from here, so if you're in the southeast London area, it's definitely worth a trip out in this direction to try various trails and things. And as I said, I will be making videos with routes on there. I'll also give you destination routes so you can get to the start of a trail or so, and producing some of the maps from my Garmin rides, because as I say, there's some absolutely fantastic routes around here that are well worth doing. And if you live in the areas of sort of Streatham, Crystal Palace, Beckenham, there's some very, very good routes that are worthwhile riding. So that's essentially it for this video. I've enjoyed making this one, but I think I'll be probably doing some more technical ones with repairs and service work and things, because I think people probably want to know those. If you ride your own bike, it's good to be able to diagnose stuff en route, especially if it's something that might get worse as well. And also things like tyre condition. I've noticed that quite a few people ride tyres with cracks and things in them that I've noticed, and that's really a bad thing to do, because you can have a tyre fail on a descent or so when you're pulling on the brakes or cornering hard. So it's probably worthwhile doing a couple of videos like that will include those kind of things. I've enjoyed making this particular video, and I will be making others, so if you do see it and you enjoy it somehow, please like and subscribe, and also if you want to leave me some comments, that would be nice to hear back from people, whether they feel the same way about riding as I do. That would be quite nice actually. But anyway, enjoy. We're about to start off again on the last bit of the ride, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.